That's how deaf people watch the news, Wally. If they know, they need to see that in order to say, oh, well, shit. It must be snowing because somebody is wearing a cardigan on TV.
And now, Cheese Wits.
The clock waits for no one in radio.
Well, that's true. But the clock is waiting for Wally.
Bing bong. 6 o'clock. He's going to miss the legal ID.
I know. Wait, there he is.
Shut up!
Yeah, you missed the legal ID, Wally.
I missed a lot of legal IDs.
All right, I got you covered. We're in the news for 5 minutes. You can relax.
I can open my garage door. Hey, this is a bad thing right here on my garage door. If I can't get internet, if I can't get a Wi-Fi signal from my house, I can't open my garage door.
Oh, that sucks.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah, because it's a smart dumbass door.
Don't they still make the other kind?
Smart door. Yeah, but we had to get a new garage openers. We had to get new motors, and so the new ones are this. All right, here I go.
Bullshit.
I'm going in now.
Why didn't you call Steers? Come on.
All right, I'm going to join up.
All right, hello.
Hello.
You can hear me. Good.
Oh, wow.
Oh, now.
Yeah. That was different.
Wow.
There we go. Now I'm off the phone and I'm in the house.
Well,
I don't think left all my notes out there.
All right, he's going to have to hit the Wi-Fi again to go outside.
I know.
No, I'm not going outside because I got a memory like a steel trap. Nothing in, nothing out.
Wow.
It's all good.
Says the man who messages me once a week going, what time are we meeting?
Can you see this?
Yeah.
I bought this today.
Mountain Dew Fruit Quake.
Yeah, it's supposed to taste like fruit cake.
I saw that at 7-Eleven.
Yeah, I picked up, and when I was buying it, I said, the clerk said, why are you getting that? And I said, because it looks like it's probably the worst tasting thing ever made, and I have to know. It is the worst. It tastes like Robitussin.
Ugh.
No,
I was going to ask,
I like Robitussin.
But do you like fruitcake?
I do like fruitcake.
Oh.
I surely do.
Oh.
I like all the finer things in life.
So you're the one.
Oh, I know that the fruitcake it's been sent around the world 3 or 4 times. Chris, what are you saying about this stuff now? You like it? Like Robitussin?
No. I think it tastes like ass. And I've had some ass. So it's...
I bet you have.
It's not good. It's not a good flavor.
What you got? Ass is not a good... There are some asses
it's not.
that are flavorful.
Listen, this conversation is going in the wrong direction.
Yeah.
Immediately.
So there are 2 things I want to share. One is kids in grocery stores whose parents think they need to teach them how to be little shoppers.
Mm-hmm.
And how in the self-checkout, how to use the scanning guns. It is the day before Thanksgiving. You do not teach your kid how to use the little scanning gun when the line is 30 people deep in the self-checkout. I wanted so much to run up, grab the scanner, and blind that fucking little kid with the laser.
Radio personality goes apeshit into Hannaford, or at 7.
I went into the grocery store today against my better judgment, but I needed to because pie. And I did not have to wait in line. There was one person in line in front of me. They did not have a full cartload full of stuff. I was in and out in 10 minutes.
Was it a Walmart in Virginia?
Well, no. No. That was, you know what? That was a dick thing to say.
Wow.
That was a dick thing to say.
I know. But that Walmart would be empty. You got to figure.
I don't go into Walmart if I can help it when there hasn't been a shooting within the last 24 hours there.
Well,
you're not going to Chesapeake, Virginia, though. You're
no, but you know what? I have a friend who lives in Chesapeake, and that's the Walmart that's closest to her house.
Dude, I used to go to that Walmart at 2:00 in the morning with mother-in-law number 1. So I'm very familiar with it.
Yeah.
I've been to that Walmart as well.
I have not.
Though I lived in Virginia as well. Yeah, so that Walmart thing, if we can just mention that real quick too, that was the manager who did all that shooting.
It was?
What?
It was the manager of the store.
I thought it was a former employee.
I was listening to the newscast on my way home, and the one of the workers was saying we were in the break room. We're getting ready to talk about what we were going to do for the setup, and the manager came in. He made an evil laugh and started shooting people.
Jesus.
The fuck?
I don't understand.
The manager.
I do kind of understand, because on the one hand, and I'm saying this as a gun owner, I've purchased 2 guns since I have lived in Tennessee, both of which were way too easy for me to get. And I know that I'm not going to go shoot up any place. But the first gun I bought from a friend, I gave her a couple $100. She gave me a gun. No government entity knows that I own that gun. It is completely legal for me to have done it that way.
Really?
Yep.
That's wrong.
The other gun, I went to an actual gun store, gun range, and they pushed a laptop in front of me and had me fill out this form. And one of the questions I had to answer was, are you a fugitive from justice? And I looked at the guy and I said, do you believe criminals are going to say the correct answer to this question? And he said, well, if you lie, you're lying to the federal government. And I'm like, well, that'll teach them. Within 10 minutes of me walking into that store and saying, I want this gun, I was walking out of the store with that gun. So,
and somebody's really going to write down, I'm done running from the law.
Yeah. Now give me a gun. Yeah. So even as a gun owner, I believe it's way too easy to get guns. So I think that's one problem. And then the other problem is, as someone who has gone to therapy and had to fight my insurance company, which, by the way, has not paid for any of my therapy. Because I went to an out-of-network therapist, which is supposed to be at least partially covered. They said I had to have gotten, pre-approval before going to get therapy. And not everybody can afford, not everybody has health insurance. Not everybody can afford therapy. So there's a combination of serious problems with mental health and being able to get services for that. And it's way too easy to get guns.
Yeah. My neighbor owns a gun shop.
Man, look at us, 3 episodes in. We are getting canceled by episode 4.
I don't think so, because I think it's real. So my neighbor owns a gun shop, and I've been at the shop when he has been selling guns, and he has to call into the FBI hotline thing, whatever it is, and give social security number and give a name. I realize that from state to state it's different, I guess.
Yeah.
But here, I mean, at least you've got to let people know you're buying a fucking gun.
In Tennessee, they passed a law last year that we don't even have to have permits to carry anymore.
See, that's such a pandering thing. Mm-hmm. And I think really when it becomes an issue is not so much, most people are good. Most people aren't out there doing wackadoodle stuff of any kind, whether it be guns or drinking and driving or cars or beating their wife or molesting kids. Most people are just good people,
right?
But you got to try to catch the wackadoodles.
Mm-hmm.
You got to try to get them, and you can't just let them walk around. It just seems wrong to do that with all things. Everything.
Agreed.
You can't let wackadoodles who drink and drive a ton say, hey, you don't need a license anymore, just drive, just go ahead.
Right.
You can't.
And by the way, here's some self-driving cars. And go.
It's fantastic.
Nothing can go wrong with that plan.
Oh God! All right. I'll jump off my soapbox.
Me too.
I somewhat apologize for the Walmart joke. I wanted to say tasteless Walmart joke.
Very tasteless. Can we? I do have something to say about Walmart, though, because as you know, I'm in the process of moving.
Yes.
And I don't like going to Walmart on a good day, especially the one close to my house. The people who work there are so hostile. They're just, they hate their job. Like, I've never been there and thought, oh, what a friendly Walmart employee that is. That's never happened. But I realized I had forgotten to get tape or paper. So I ordered that for pickup, because that way I wouldn't have to go in the store, and at least if they have anybody who's even remotely friendly, that's who they'll put on the stuff that they bring out to your car. So I order for pickup. I get a notification that they can't find the packing paper that I ordered or any substitute for it, even though there were several different brands available when I ordered. So they canceled my order. So I went to the exact Walmart I had ordered that stuff from. Using the app, the Walmart app, I went directly to the aisle where the tape and the packing paper was and found tons of the exact packing paper that they had told me they could not find, that they had canceled my order for.
Same thing happened to me, except it was a TV. And they said, nope, sorry, not in stock. And I'm like, okay. And the order was canceled. But I was already going to the store to pick it up because it had a set pickup time, right?
Yeah.
And nope, canceled. And I looked down, I'm like, what the fuck? I go back in the back, and the box is sitting there. It's these lazy sons of bitches that don't want to walk to the back of the store, pick it up, bring it to the front of the fucking store. Lazy as fuck.
And and you know what, in all honesty, I don't know what they get paid over there. Like, maybe they don't get paid enough to give a fuck, but don't tell me that you could, like, every time I've gone there, I've gotten attitude. Every time. And I go out of my way to be polite because I don't want to have to get attitude from them.
I think a lot of the people who get employed, oh man, I'm going to get canceled.
Are you just gonna offend everybody right now?
I am.
Let's do it.
But I think a lot of the folks who work in those sort of jobs are otherwise unemployable. And so they're taken advantage of. They don't belong in the position they're in. That's what I'm saying. They don't belong doing those jobs. But they get employed anyways because the companies, the stores don't pay enough to get the people who they should be hiring.
Well, let me ask you this, though, because a couple of years ago...
You going to work at Walmart for $14 an hour?
But listen,
no.
A couple of years ago, I was in Florida, and I went to a Walmart there. And I went into the clothing section. I needed to get, I don't know, a swimsuit cover-up or something. And I saw this... There's this section that's in the women's clothing department of every Walmart I've ever been to that's got exercise leggings. And they're in these boxes that are supposed to be sorted out by size. But usually it looks like somebody has looted the place. And there's just everything is all over the floor. It's a mess. But in this particular Walmart, I just walked past that section and I glanced over and I saw row upon row of neatly folded leggings. And I stood there looking at it, kind of with my mouth open, like trying to figure out what was happening. And a Walmart employee came over and she said, "Hi, may I help you find something?" And I looked at her and I was a little confused because she was being so nice. But I said, "No, I was just admiring how neat this section is because at the Walmart back home that it doesn't look like this." And she says, "Well, we do take pride in making sure our store is nice for our customers. Now, if you want to try anything on, you just come find me right over here, okay?" And as if that wasn't enough of a shock, my friends and I were looking for something over in the housewares department, and we were standing there sort of looking at the aisles, trying to figure out which aisle to go to. Another Walmart employee came over and he said, "Can I help you ladies find anything?" And we told him what we were looking for. And this man walked us to the correct aisle. And then we went down and we were standing there looking at all the stuff. And he came back a couple minutes later and said, "I just want to make sure you found everything you needed or if there was anything else I could help you with." I was shocked. I was shocked.
You know what that is? You know what that is?
What?
A bunch of middle-aged bitches casing the joint. That's what that was. And they were trying to make sure you weren't. That's what was happening.
Well, they don't care if we're casing the joint in Antioch, Tennessee. I can tell you that.
It's somebody who's hidden a little Wi-Fi camera in a changing room and said, "Hey, why don't you go try these on?" No, you know what I think that is? It's good management.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It all
Good
stems from
employees are the
management.
result of good management.
Yeah.
You all got 7-Elevens up there, don't you, Wally?
Oh, yeah, we've got a couple.
I take that as yes. Okay, so every 7-Eleven down here has got to be, I don't know, shit. Okay, it's terrible. Except for this one where I live now in Walkersville. You walk in, it is the cleanest 7-Eleven. Everyone is nice and friendly. You come in and they're like, "Hello, how you doing?" "Good, how are you? I didn't know anyone talked here." That's great. And they've always got fresh pizza and they got fresh hot dogs. And They always want to upsell you something at the counter. They're like, you can get 2 Red Bulls for $5 instead of paying $3 for one.
Wow.
Oh, what is this? It's great. They got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 flavors of Slurpees plus a frozen lemonade machine, and they've got seating inside.
And they're all working?
Yes, they're all working.
Wait.
How's the bathroom?
I haven't shit there.
Let me just wait. Hang on, 1 second. Let me just write down the names of the businesses who will never sponsor us if we don't get canceled. Walmart,
7-Eleven was great.
7-Eleven. Okay.
I have a hard time pooping in public.
Yeah, me too. I can't do it.
Oh, but
I have no issue.
I believe that to be true.
I do too.
Bet the fuck you do.
I plotted out the bathrooms that were usable in the different places I would go to make sure that I would be close enough to a place. If I had to, I could make a trip to a different store or a different location where they'd have like a private Filene's upstairs. Here in Maine, there used to be a Filene's, and the upstairs bathroom in the building was so awesome because there used to be like a little a cakery or something there, but the cakery had since closed, but the bathroom was still open. It was a private bathroom. I'd go to the mall and say, I'm going to go upstairs to my private. There was never anybody in that bathroom. You could go. I could have sat there for an hour. Nothing. The only person who would come in maybe is the person who cleans the bathroom.
You and I are the same person, dude. I used to live down in North Carolina.
That's
right?
terrifying.
And listen, I plotted out the clean bathrooms
Me
on
too.
the way down 95. I'm like, okay, there's a Davis rest stop here, and those are clean. And there's a place called Kenley 95, and they're good here. So I'm fine. I can shit in these locations. Not going to be a problem. Matter of fact, I went to New York City on a bus trip, and I wasn't going to shit on this bus. Okay.
No way.
And we're getting to Macy's. The bus is dropping us off at Macy's. I plotted out where the men's room was inside of that Macy's that nobody ever used. There were like TripAdvisor reviews on it, and there was a men's room on the 7th fucking floor of this building. So I'm in there trotting my happy, almost leaking ass up the wooden escalators, getting to the 7th floor, getting in there, opening the door. A turtle. A turtle, please. This was more like Mr. Hanky the Christmas shit. Okay? And I got to that toilet.
The kid.
Fucking bombed it, man. Fucking bombed it. In and out of that room in 5 minutes. Nobody was the wiser. I went back 3 hours later because my stomach was upset. It still smelled like me in there. Nobody else had gone in. Okay?
Wow.
I have
Go
done
ahead and
that.
write down Macy's on that list.
I have done that same thing. I looked for and plot out bathrooms that are safe for my particular aversion to public toileting.
I don't even do that. I just, if I can help it, I will wait until I get home.
But here's
And if
part
I
of it.
can't help it, I will hover.
Back in the day, 20 years ago, when you went to a sporting arena, at least the ones I went to, if you went to see the Patriots play at Old Foxborough,
I would never.
You'd go into the bathroom, the men's room, and you didn't have an individual stall or a little stand-up thing to take a pee in. You had a trough with ice cubes in it, and a bunch of guys standing in a line, all of them with their junk hanging out, talking, drunk, pissing on each other, pissing in ice cubes. And then an attendant would come in and throw some new ice cubes in when the too few ice cubes were there. Men, it's horrible for men in bathrooms. Even now, when I use I can pee in a public bathroom. The funniest thing I see or hear is people will come in. If you're at the urinal's just there, and it's next to another urinal. There's a little divider. But if someone comes in to go pee because the urinal is being used, someone comes to go pee and use the toilet, they always lock the door when they're peeing, and I can't understand it because if they would use the urinal, they just stand there naked.
Right.
If they get the chance to go in the booth, they lock the door.
You know,
Men
you
are
talk about the
mistreated.
trough, okay? the trough.
Oh.
I almost had to register for Megan's Law because of this. My younger brother, who recently died, he autistic, and he went to a, I'm going to use air quotes, special school. Okay.
Right.
And in Montgomery County, the air quotes special schools were always the oldest ones that they never rehabbed, and that's just where they put the
Asbestos falling out of the ceiling.
Right, exactly. So there's this night where it's parents and siblings come by, and they're all doing whatever in the all-purpose room, and I've got to take a piss. And I'm like, I don't know, 16, 17 years old. I walk in there, and there's the trough, right? And, I pull out Mr. Wang, and I start peeing. And the door opens, and this kid goes into a stall, and he comes back out in about 10 seconds, and he gets next to me in this trough, and he pushes down on the floor with his foot on this thing, and water starts coming out. It was then I realized I'm pissing in the fucking sink. I'm pissing in the sink next to a young autistic child. Okay? So now it's like, what do I do here?
I know
What do
this.
I do? So you know exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah, it's a sink. It sort of looks like it's like speckled, and it's like half round or something. Is that one?
Yes, but it looks like a fucking trough.
It does. It looks like the piss trough from the old days.
Exactly. So I'm like, okay, well, this is an old school. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to take a piss. Well, that was wrong.
I guess so. Boys and men are treated like animals. This is why they act like animals. It's like
Yeah, that's why they act like animals.
This is exactly why.
Jess, let me ask you something. When you were in high school or in college, when you went into had gym and went and took a shower, did they just throw you in a big giant room with a bunch of shower heads? Or did you have a little individual shower with a little curtain on it?
I can't remember showering in high school in gym.
Well, we did, and it was just 4 poles.
And in college, I didn't take gym.
There was 4. Well, I played college sports. So the showers were 4 big, stainless steel poles in the big open room. It looked like prison.
Oh yeah,
with shower heads on it, and you got a bunch of guys standing around with their, naked, of course, just showering together, sharing. Men are treated and boys are treated like animals. You wonder why they act like animals. They don't know nothing about privacy or anything, and then they get chastised if they don't use the shower. When I was in high school,
you got to do it.
Oh yeah,
and that's when I found out that I was hung like an infant, Wally. That's exactly when I found out, and I'm like, well. This is going to get back to some girl somewhere.
I had the stunted growth thing. I had heart surgery when I was 13 or so, and I was under 5 foot tall in the 9th grade, going into the 9th grade. But the open heart surgery helped me grow. I was taking a shower with these guys in the 9th grade, no pubic hair. I hadn't hit puberty yet because of my stunted growth. Guys are walking around with a 1970s porno pubic bush, and I got nothing. I look like poor Chris, like an infant baby.
Yeah, it was bad. So the infant baby that was taking the shower, guess what happened to me yesterday? Anyone? I'll just give you a hint. I plucked my first gray pube.
Oh, man. Oh.
I wanted to jump off of a fucking bridge.
Yeah, I wouldn't waste any time on that.
No, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Your gray pubes do not define you as a human.
Yeah, unless you're walking around with your pubes showing in public all the time. They're going like, look at him. No, the drapes don't mix the carpet for him, do they?
Only one person that's seeing it, but instead of just being what it's supposed to be, now it looks like an episode of the fucking Addams Family down there. That's God Almighty.
Yeah, it is quite interesting what we do when we start getting these obvious aging signals or things that let people know that's an old motherfucker.
I wanted to go into Amazon and order a bottle of Just for Dick and color it in or something.
Just for Dick.
That'd be a tough comb job.
Yeah, telling me.
I can't imagine the comb job there. You're trying to get back to, but the good thing is, Chris, it'd be a gradual transition.
Oh, that's good.
It's a gradual, as they always say with that man stuff. No one will notice because your hair will gradually go back to its natural. Yeah, of course, nobody will notice.
That's good. My bush is going to look like fucking Shepard Smith soon. That's great. That's terrific. Can't wait.
Yeah, I like Shepard Smith. By the way, I think Shepard Smith is one of the only TV broadcasters who you can rely on to give you real news. That's my take on Shepard Smith.
I stopped watching the news in 2020. I had to, because I don't know if this was happening where you guys were, but when the pandemic first started, the local channels here were breaking into the evening TV hourly to give counts of how many people had COVID here. Hourly they were doing it. Now, as you probably know, I went to school for journalism. I thought I was going to be a big famous TV news anchor. And one of the reasons that I chose to veer away from that path was because after doing the news job that I was doing when I worked with you, Wally, my other job at the time, I found out that doing the news was killing my soul because their whole job is to manipulate you into watching or listening longer. And they do that by making you afraid. And so I stopped watching the news in March of 2020 because I decided I was not participating in that anymore.
Hold on, Jess. Hold on. There's something in your computer that could kill you. I'll tell you about that in about 10 minutes.
Hey, very good. You got 2 quarter hours out of that.
Exactly. So I'm not participating in that anymore. So I do not watch the news. I might, I've actually slowed down on my social media usage too, because for a long time I was just seeing headlines on social media, and that's how I kind of had an idea what was going on. And if there was something I wanted more details on, I would go look for a reliable source to get more information. But now I basically never know what's going on. Yeah. And by the way, I think I'm happier for it.
For sure.
Yeah.
My broadcast journalism instructor in college, his big lesson, and he was a great guy. This was how he summed it up, basically, what broadcast journalism is. He said, if it bleeds, it leads.
Yep.
And that's the end of it.
Yep.
That's what you learn. If it bleeds, it leads.
Yep. I mean, they used to send me out when I was at the news station in Syracuse, New York. They would send me out in a snowstorm in Syracuse, New York, where snow is what it does.
Yeah.
Snow is what the weather is in Syracuse, New York. And they would send me out in a snowstorm to report on how it was snowing. And it was dangerous. The roads were dangerous, and you should not be on them. But I had to be on them to tell you that the roads were too dangerous for you to be on.
When they send out Al Roker in the middle of a hurricane.
And that guy that shows up, who's the Weather Channel guy that shows
Cantori.
up? Cantori. You know something's about to go down when he shows up in your town.
Is there anything funnier, though, than Al Roker on the back of some deck in Florida with umbrellas flying by him and him holding on, and it's almost lifting him up and carrying it?
I don't even trust any of that anymore.
Well, he's getting pulled away, and Al Roker's got these glasses on that look like they came from Toucan fucking Sam, and it's just ridiculous.
I don't even trust those anymore. Did you remember? I don't even remember which storm it was now, but there was like this expose because there was like a reporter that was standing in what was supposed to be this hurricane, and then people were just like
walking by.
They were just strolling by behind them, and they used that. And then it was like, oh, they're faking all of this video footage of how bad the weather is, which I wasn't even surprised by.
Each morning, this whole week, each morning, and last week too, they've had the Storm Center sound. This Storm Center music, to make you, because someone's sponsoring it. Storm Center brought to you by Billy's Whack-A-Mole. and there's no reason to have it on, but they still have to put the music on. And the other thing they do here is when there is a storm, everybody wears sweaters at the station. Instead
that's
of their
the sign.
That's how you know.
That's exactly how you know. That's how deaf people watch the news, Wally. If they know, they need to see that in order to say, oh, well, shit. It must be snowing because somebody is wearing a cardigan on TV.
You just got
so it's got to be snowing.
I just almost spit tea through my nose.
There we go. Yeah, I can see. You are right. There's these fucking ridiculous cues these stations do. Come on. Or
you know when the weather is serious in the summer, Wally? When there's a thunderstorm or a tornado coming? Well, the chief meteorologist doesn't have his fucking tie on, and those sleeves are rolled up, aren't they? Every time.
That's it. That's what they do here.
Oh, my gosh.
Sleeves are rolled up and no tie. Get this top button undone.
I got to talk about one of those TV meteorologists. When I lived in Wichita, Kansas, there was a guy, I'm not sure if he's still on the air up there anymore, but his name was Dave Friedman. And so I worked for KFDI, which at the time was this legendary station. They've since been bought and basically destroyed by corporate radio. But at the time, they were a monstrous station because they had, first of all, they were country music. Part of what KFDI did was they had this news department, and they would break in every hour all day long with farm reports and news and
I love farm
whatever else. But when there was bad weather, they would send their, 6 or 7 news guys out in station vehicles to different parts of the market, and they were all trained storm spotters, so they could say, here's what these clouds look like in this part of town, and this is what that means weather-wise. And Wichita, Kansas is right in Tornado Alley. So if there was bad weather, these guys they had it down. So whenever there was, even when there was bad weather, the other competing radio stations were like, we're not even going to bother. Everybody's listening to KFDI. That's what we're going to do. So
I believe that.
When I was there was one day that there was a tornado warning in the part of town where I lived. And I was at work, but my boyfriend at the time was at home. And I called him and I said, hey, there's a tornado warning over there. Get inside. And he's like, I'm going to stand out on the front porch and watch it. Yeah. Anyway. One of the guys at the station steps outside, looks up, and notices that the clouds are starting to rotate above the radio station. So they put all of us down in the basement. And I'm pacing back and forth, trying not to panic because I'm from upstate New York where we have snow. And as long as you stay inside, you're not going to die. But this is a tornado. This was my first one. And KFDI would simulcast with the TV station. So Dave Friedman on TV would bring on the KFDI guys, and they would say, here's what it's here, and here's what it is here. And then they would throw it back, and KFDI would bring Dave Friedman on, who would say, this is what it's going to happen. So I'm downstairs pacing. Everybody at work is downstairs, except for the news guys who are still up there doing their thing in the studio. Dave Friedman is on, and he says, a third rotation has just been spotted on the east side of Wichita, right around the intersections of call my family, somebody call my family right now. Now, where I come from, when the TV meteorologist loses his shit, we are all going to die. I burst into tears.
Okay.
None of those turned into tornadoes. None of them.
That happened here.
Did it really?
I don't know whether, I think Doug Kammerer was on Channel 4 when you were here.
Yeah, that sounds familiar.
He, there was a storm about 2 years ago, and he's reading the Weather Service stuff as it comes along and saying, there's something here, and then you hear, and he goes to his waist and he says, this is my daughter. I got to take this. Honey, go to the basement. Go, just shut up. Go to the basement now. Take your brother. Okay? I love you. And that was it. And then he continued the weather forecast.
it.
Yeah.
Wow. I've never been in a tornado. I have been in an earthquake when I lived in LA. Was working in LA. It's a scary thing.
Yeah.
I think a tornado would be scary though. Well, I don't know. Tornado, I guess maybe you see it coming, but I got knocked my ass out of bed. The thing about weather events, at least about an earthquake, is it's over before you fucking realize what it is. At least your first time.
The earthquake that we had here, Jess, you were in town for it.
I was, and I didn't even know that it was an earthquake because I remember this. I was driving behind a city bus or something, and so like there was already rumbling from the sound of the bus, and the bus was kind of shaking the road. So I didn't feel the tornado or feel the earthquake until I started, later seeing on social media. Did you feel that? Did you feel that?
I was walking down the steps in the house, and my second ex-wife was at the bottom of the steps, and all of a sudden there's a
Netflix show about that.
Feeling. Yeah, I know. Wait till number 3. The future ex-Mrs. Roth, as I refer to her in public. But this noise is happening. I'm like, what the fuck? And I can't figure. It sounds like water is rushing. I'm like, oh my God, the hot water heater's exploded. But it's coming from upstairs. What the fuck is going on here? And everybody does what you're not supposed to do. Everybody walked right outside.
Well, listen, they don't teach you that. I was in an earthquake when I was 12 or 13 years old. I was in California, and I didn't, first of all, know that it was an earthquake because I'd never been in one before, and I was 12 or 13, and I grew up in upstate New York where they don't have earthquakes. And so I didn't know what it was, and my little friend that I was with, I say my little friend because we were both little friends, she was going...
What little friend?
We were... You don't know her.
Oh.
We were in a McDonald's or a Burger King or something, and we were sitting right in front of a big plate glass window, and all of these people are getting up and running outside, which I'm only sort of noticing because I'm wondering why she's shaking the table, and she's going, "You're not supposed to run outside. You're supposed to get under the table or in a doorway." And I was like, "But why? And why are you shaking the table?" And she's like, "My dear." As if I was the dumbest one on the planet. You are in an earthquake. And then it was over. And luckily, the plate glass window we were sitting in front of didn't shatter.
That was my experience, too. It was like a 7.4. It was a serious earthquake.
That is serious. I think mine was a 6.2.
And the scariest part about the earthquake, at least for me, was the aftershocks. Because then you think every single one is a fucking earthquake.
Yeah.
You're outside and you're in the middle and you're fucking next to a tree and all of a sudden like, oh, shit,
I was sleeping on a waterbed at the time because it was in the 80s. I was sleeping on a waterbed during an aftershock, and it woke me up in the middle of the night because the whole bed was like waves.
I bet the hell it did.
Yeah, it was terrifying.
It can be scary. I love weather. I like weather. I like windy days and rainy days, and I don't. No, that's what I say. I would not want to be in a tornado because tornado scares the shit out of me.
Yeah, that's pretty scary.
I've always loved the weather. And the weather is what got me into my first radio station when I was 12 years old. My uncle was a sales slug for, believe it or not, Jess, WMZQ.
Oh, no kidding.
And this was 1986. So this is when, country was really coming up. And I got to go in. He's like, "You want to come in? You want to meet Gordon Barnes, the meteorologist?" I'm like, "Yes, I absolutely do." So he brought me in, and he bought me the Weather Channel calendar, which came out that year for the first time, and went in, saw Gordon Barnes, and I sat in the studio in there with this guy, Bill Worthington. And Bill Worthington and I wound up working together 30 years later at Wash FM, if you can believe that.
Wow.
So weather got me in the radio door.
I mean, I can believe it because Wally and I are doing a podcast together 30 years after we worked together.
And you and I are doing a podcast 30, wait, what?
Yeah. 10 years. 10 years. Well, 10 years since I left, but probably what? A couple of years before that?
Yeah. I actually came across one of our air checks today from 2011, I guess.
Was it hilarious? Of course it was. That was.
It was very
question.
good.
Yeah.
It was very good. We were good, happy people.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So Thanksgiving, guys. What is everybody doing?
What are you talking about?
Are you going anywhere? Are you doing anything? I have family coming in tonight.
You call it Thanksgiving, we call it Family Feud. I'm sorry. I apologize. It's nothing but a big fight with these fucking people. We just don't know who's going to be the contestants until we show up.
Do you have like the horror show family member who just ruins the whole fucking thing?
Well, there's my older brother who's a fucking idiot, and my older sister who really doesn't far fall from her brother, and those two like to get into it together. And my brother, it kind of sounds like that. You could talk like that all the time. So I bet you do. And then the sister's like, so it's fucking, Lucy and Ricky almost going at one another. And my brother's saying, "Oh, you're so stupid. Why do you call it? Why are you calling that wine Chablis? What the fuck is a Chablis? Doing that bullshit. What the fuck is that?" And then my sister's like,
Chablis, give me some of that Chablis.
At least I'm not dumb enough to call it a streetcar named Desiree. Okay, I mean, these two fucking just go at it all the time. And now, on a serious note, it's the first Thanksgiving without my younger brother, who was the entertainment for everybody. So it's going to be an interesting day. We're not doing it at my parents' for the first time, and first time since Christ was a corporal, honestly. We're going to be at my niece's house, and that'll be the early show, and then we're going to back up here to the farm to her parents for round 2. Yeah. Well, it's an early show and the late show. I mean, and this is the first year with the, quote, new in-laws and family for Thanksgiving. So, frankly, I'll be straight with you. I don't know what the fuck I'm walking into. Okay? No idea.
And so I would keep the drinking down to a minimum.
Or a maximum. I think either extreme.
That sounds like a maximum drinking day to me.
Yeah.
I have no family gathering horror stories at all. Our family gatherings are always so good.
That's good. Good for you.
We don't fight about it. Nothing. None of that shit happens.
I
don't know why.
Yeah.
I think
you're lucky. That's why.
You are lucky.
We're dicks the rest of the week, but on the gathering day, we're fine.
See, and even my mother will get in on it, okay? Because I'll make fun of Diane or Paul, my younger brother and sister, or my older brother and sister. And my mother one time came up and said, "Well, at least they aren't the ones that put toothpaste on their pecker when they were 5 years old."
Oh,
Mom,
why do they do that?
Mom, why would you bring that up? Why would you bring that up?
Why do mothers do that?
Did I tell you why I did that?
Oh, you did that?
Yeah. Did I tell you why I did that, though?
No, this is the first we're hearing of the pecker toothpaste incident.
Yeah.
Well, let me tell you real quick why I did this. In the basement at my parents' house, I'm 5 years old, and there is a book of jokes, and it says Dirty Joke Book. And I thought, well, I like jokes, so I'm going to read this. And I go and I read the first joke. And I remember it vividly. The first joke said, and I quote, "Why did the redneck boy put toothpaste on his penis? Because he didn't want his sister to get a cavity."
Oh, my God.
Okay? So
my God.
I go ahead and I do this. I put the toothpaste right on my pecker, and I start screaming because it's so bad. And my mother walks in the bathroom, and instead of saying, "Are you okay?" No. No, she grabs my arm, parades me around the house with my dick that looks like it has fucking rabies all of a sudden. And I say, "I didn't want Diane to get a cavity."
Oh, my God.
What the fuck?
Now my question: what was it? Was it cinema close up? Because that would have hurt a lot.
This was just Colgate because my parents bought basic shit. So it was basic white Colgate on my pecker.
Are we adding Colgate now to the list of
Colgate
businesses
canceled
that will not
all
sponsor
of Gamble.
us?
Goodbye.
Okay.
I think cinnamon close-up would have hurt way more.
Oh,
so
absolutely.
You're fortunate.
Absolutely. But, of course, I didn't get the joke, right? I didn't want a sister to get a cavity.
Of course, you didn't get the joke. You were 5.
Right, exactly. So I'm being carted around. I didn't want Diane to get a cavity. I'm sitting there crying as my mom's pulling this toothpaste off of my pecker, and I'm just sniffling, going,
God.
I was just trying to help. I was just trying to help.
Whose book was it?
What book?
Whose book? Who
it
left
was
the
my
book
father's.
where a
My father
5-year-old could find it?
My father collected everything, so there you go. That's where it was, in the collection of books.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, I'm just going to be quiet. I've already put my foot in my mouth too much. I don't want to put your pecker in my.
I'm about to say, is there a story about you putting your pecker inside some sort of oral aid?
Never. No. But the more frightening part of your story is your mother cleaning you off, taking the toothpaste
I
off
was
of
5
you.
years old. I didn't know what the fuck to do. She put a wet wash rag
That's a
out.
gig. That's a gig that would embarrass me more than any of it. Then Mom started cleaning the toothpaste off me in front of not for me.
Like, why
Not
did
for
she
me.
drag you around the
I have
house
no
that way,
stories
though?
like
That's
that.
the thing. I have
And you all
questions
wonder
for your
why I'm
mother.
so fucked up.
I mean, we all have our
So that
stuff.
might be my advantage. My advantage is not having parents. So I don't have to have those people at our family festivities.
You can separate
That's
yourself from
You don't
people
have to
whether you're
have-
related to them or not, if you choose. If that's a fight you want to have.
Yeah, that's not a. See, that would not be a fight I'd want to have. Do you want to have that fight, Jess?
I do not want to have that fight. But also, I'm not going near any family for Thanksgiving. So
I figure at
Well,
this
yeah,
point,
I
they're
think you
81. They're not going to be around long. So why not?
Is it you and the dogs and some pie?
that's exactly what it is. And some mashed potatoes and gravy. That's pretty much what I'm having. And you know what? This won't be the first time I've spent Thanksgiving Day itself alone. I went to a Friendsgiving a couple of days ago with some friends and some strangers, and that was fun. But people are always like, "Oh, you can't spend the day by yourself." I love being by myself. I love my own company. It's way better than having to be with people I don't know or people that I'm just going to argue with. Like, I love my own company, and I get to eat all of the food, and I get to eat. I'm only making the food I want. I'm not. There's no cranberries in this house. You know why? I don't eat them. There's none of that. There is pie, potatoes, and gravy. That's my stuff tomorrow. In fact, that might even be what I have for dinner tonight because I'm grown and I can.
What is cranberry sauce, anyhow?
What's what?
Cranberry sauce. What's the point?
I don't know. You have to ask somebody else about that.
It's good for your kidneys. I know that. And I think when you get a UTI, cranberry juice is one of the things you're supposed to drink, right?
Cranberry juice, yeah. But not that
I
stuff
would
that
rather
maintains
drink Clorox, okay?
not that stuff that maintains the shape of the can when you pour it out.
Oh, I think that's just sugar that jellies it up, but I like it on a turkey sandwich. Shut up. It's good.
Well, you can have it. You shut up.
I like it.
You shut up and eat your cranberries.
I like it. I likes it. Hey, write that down. There's a possible sponsor, Ocean Spray Cranberry Sauce.
Not after I just dissed them.
I'm trying to save some sponsorship possibilities over here. I'm trying to do my level best.
You know who could sponsor us? Chewy.com. Come on, I love dog stuff. Come on. Chewy, how you doing?
I don't buy much from Chewy.
I do. They
the only
send
thing
my
I bought
dog's
from Chewy
birthday
was,
cards.
oh my God. How much they charge you for that?
$0.
Their prices are very high.
No, they're not.
Their prices are very high.
I mean, it depends on what you're buying.
Well, when I bought hot spot ointment for my dog, and it was very expensive. And to buy any of the needle stuff I need for his what does he have? Diabetes. Very expensive. Walmart's the cheapest place.
I get all of my dog's prescriptions at Chewy, and it's cheaper than any of the other places I've found. Now, Walmart was cheaper for one of my dog's prescriptions, and then the last time I went to pick it up, Walmart was like, "Oh yeah, that's increased by 50%. So now instead of the already expensive $50 a month, it's now $100 a month." And I was like, "Nope, we're out. We're not getting that anymore."
Yeah, we get our insulin for him from Walmart, and I think it's $26 a vial.
Yeah.
and then all his. The funny thing is, the insulin you do not need a prescription for. You know what you need a prescription for?
The needles.
The needles.
That was true when I had a diabetic cat, and that was 20 years ago.
Ridiculous.
Well,
that's why people share needles.
Yeah,
that's part of the drug or the getting whatever you get from sharing needles, AIDS or HIV or John. I don't know what it is you get. I have no idea, but I know that sharing needles is bad.
And it's interesting that insulin requires no prescription, but if you want to get oxygen, like for your CPAP or whatever, you have to have a prescription for that.
Yeah, or if you want to get the stuff for the you can't breathe good.
Yeah,
whatever that thing is.
Yeah,
you need a prescription for that. Mm-hmm. But if you want the life-saving shit, no prescription. We won't. You can't get the needle you need to put it in your body,
right?
But we'll give you the serum. Here's the serum, but you've got no way to use it. Good for you. Live long and prosper.
Just drink it.
All of a sudden,
put it in your throat. You're fine.
All of a sudden, Wally just became a Jewish grandmother. Good for you.
Good for you.
You take your little insulin, darling. That's good for you.
Sometimes you break left, sometimes you break right. You don't know what's going to happen.
And sometimes you oigavolt. Exactly.
We'll have coffee. We'll talk. No big whoop.
Stop kvetching. Stop it.
And now I'm getting holiday cards because we're not going to call it Christmas cards. Now I'm getting holiday cards. And they're coming from Chewy.com. And that's because I'm spending $38 on fucking sausages. You think the card's free? I know where that fucking card money's coming from. Why do I sound like Don Rickles now?
I don't know.
I love Don Rickles.
Oh,
I love it.
I got to see him in Atlantic City. What an awesome show of things you can never repeat, even on this podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's such as I think that's sad in the world of comedy and just in the world of conversation that so much has been shut down and shut out and taken away. And I think
nobody's got a sense of humor.
No, they don't, because I think you can get rid of a lot of anxiety by sometimes being a little off color.
Absolutely. Everybody needs to stop getting offended.
Not mean and hateful, but come on. Don Rickles hammering somebody in an audience. It's okay.
Right.
It's okay. And I think you're able to get rid of frustration. I don't think we should attack people but sometimes funny is funny, goddammit. Sometimes when a person fucking falls down the last two steps and lands on their ass, it's funny as long as they don't get hurt.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I would agree with that.
But you can't do that shit anymore. You can't oh, you okay? Oh, is everything all right?
No, because if you fell out of that chair right now, I would laugh my ass off.
I would laugh my ass off.
I'd laugh too. So I own this bowling alley. We know this. And people, for some reason, when they bowl duck pins, they go a little fast and they stick on the approach. And I had somebody face plant on the lane during a tournament on Saturday.
I'd laugh.
And, everybody's pointing and laughing. And I went over and helped this woman up. And I'm like, hey, are you okay? She's like, oh, yeah, I'm fine. I'm like, all right, good. Here's a waiver I need you to sign.
Yeah, of course. That's why you were over there.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Trying not to get sued.
We used to have when we owned our diner and we owned the convenience store. Same shit. Someone slip and fall outside. You're not hurt, are you? You need to sign something here. We only were sued twice, and neither time did the people win. But slip and falls, people do the slip and fall all the time.
Oh yeah,
because insurance companies settle immediately. They sue you for $2,000. Oh yeah, sure. Here you go. Here's $2,000. Because it'll cost you $10,000 for the lawyer.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's why. It'll cost you $10,000 for the lawyer for them to lose. Unless you have insurance and the insurance pays for it and they don't care. But if it's you and you're paying the lawyer out of pocket, you're going to have to pay the lawyer $10,000 to save $2,000. Fuck that. Here's $2,000. Have a good day.
So if you fell out of your chair and we laughed, would you sue us?
Oh, hell no. I'd find out who made the chair.
Sue them. Okay, good. Then we'll be your witnesses.
I outgrew the chair.
I'd be there
my
like
bottom's bigger than the chair bottom.
Like, Wally, you okay? You fucking fuck? And
Yeah, see, it would be recorded so you could see it. Hey, here's what happened. I was using the chair appropriately. And
We're not recording the video. Should we be? Just in case? In case we have to sue anybody?
maybe we should.
just in case we have to sue somebody.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm going to need one of y'all to be in charge of recording video.
You know what I'm noticing today? I didn't know you had a nose ring, Jess.
Chris has been
Or
dying to
just
talk about my
snot.
nose ring. No, I just got it 3 weeks ago.
Oh, I didn't know you had one.
Yeah. And I
didn't notice it last
posted about it on Facebook, and Chris has been dying to talk about my nose ring ever since.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
And let's talk about it now.
Okay.
Can you turn your head a little bit and so we can get a close up? Move closer to the camera, Jess. Nice. Little stud.
Yeah. Well, you can't get a hoop to start. I just got it pierced, so you have to wait 6 months to get a hoop so that it heals properly.
I have a problem with having a wait person, a waiter or waitress who has the hoop that covers both nostrils.
Why?
I'm for sure that snots are coming out and falling on my food.
You think snot can't fall out of their nose if they don't have a nose
but there's
piercing?
something about it because they're always playing with that fucking thing. You see them.
What? They're playing with that. They're playing with their tongue stud.
Oh
and shit.
Yeah,
It's like,
yep.
God Almighty.
I can't stand it. It grosses me the fuck out.
If anything, that's gonna catch the boogers on the way out.
Yeah, no,
They're not
going
gonna
to
get in your food.
Off. They're reaching up, picking the slimy little snow when they got a runny nose and a cold, and you see the fucking glistening across that little hoop. You know what's going on.
But that
You see
can
the
happen
glistening
to
of a little
anybody with a cold.
It's a little COVID goop on their fucking thing.
Mm-hmm.
Next thing you know, it's falling into my fucking, my poppers.
Well, you don't have to worry that I'm not going to get my septum pierced. Well, at least that's not my plan right now. I'm just
I
going
got to use the fancy word.
to keep it in the it in the nostril.
I am glad you don't have anybody coming over for Thanksgiving because Jess is going to be there knuckles deep in her fucking nose next to that ring, and shit's going to be going in the cranberry sauce that doesn't exist.
Knuckles deep.
Why would I have to be knuckles deep in my
And your nostrils aren't that big.
because
Jess.
of my nose ring?
I'm going to go just a single knuckle.
What? So up to one knuckle first? The little knuckle?
I think just the little knuckle.
Besides, if anybody has noticed, I have the sniffles. I have allergies all the time. I got a little tissue here. I'm not sticking my knuckles up inside my nose. I've been rubbing my nose with a tissue.
Yes. Hey, now let me ask you. When you blow your nose, and then people will use the tissue to put their finger in the nose, are they still being appropriate? Are they still blowing the nose, or are they actually picking their nose?
I think
they're picking their nose.
wiping their nose out.
I think they're doing a covert nose pick.
Maybe.
That's what I think.
Maybe.
I think it's a covert.
I don't
nose
speak for all nose pickers or nose blowers, so I can't say. But I've done that, and I can say that I wasn't picking my nose. I was just rubbing it out. I was
You know what
rubbing
I
it
can
out
say?
is the wrong thing to say with you guys, but
I can say 10 years ago today, as I look back at my Facebook memories, 10 years ago today,
I picked
there is the studio of WFRE with a big Kleenex that's used sitting on top of the mouse.
ew.
Oh.
And we're like, you and I are talking, is like, you know what? One person gets sick here. This is why everybody gets sick. Because of this shit.
Yeah. You walk in and smell the Lysol that someone has sprayed directly on the electronic equipment.
Yeah, no, so in later years, I always carried my own pop screen.
Yeah. That's smart because these things stink when they smell like people's breath.
I took the one off the mic that would be there, and I'd put my own on, and I'd spray it with Lysol, and I'd wipe the mouse down and the keyboard because people are fucking filthy pigs.
Oh. Chris, do you remember the keyboard in the WFRE studio? That would
There was a time.
it would be
and-
crusted with
It's worse.
lint.
than-
It'd be
one time
sticky.
I took a paper clip, opened up the paper clip, and went around the keys and was pulling out what looked like cat hair out of this thing.
Oh my God.
In addition to whatever the fuck Dave Conrad decided to spill in it while he's eating his dinner over the console.
Yeah.
Okay? I mean, holy shit, that was disgusting.
I've definitely seen pubic hair on the
How?
Was it gray?
How is
By chance? Might have been mine.
Oh, that would explain it.
full circle. Yeah, no, I've definitely seen pubic hair, and I've done the little paperclip deal, and you pull out, and it's fucking pubic hair and
Oh,
fingernails, and all kinds of shit would come out of it.
disgusting.
Yeah, see, Jess, I can see you gagging in your throat. I saw your throat balloon a little bit.
I threw up in my mouth a little bit.
You had a little gag there.
Ugh.
Well, speaking of throwing up, folks, my time has to come to an end. I've got to get to my next thing.
All right, so we'll talk next week.
And I hope I'm not shitting violently by then.
I hope the same. I would like to forego any future podcast shitting.
Yeah, I hear about a bidet accident.
Yeah,
I was injured by a bidet.
My crazy ex from North Carolina to come up and throw a 635A in my ass to plug me up or something.